Hello all. Let's discuss some more questions on Indian polity and constitution. So, the next question is, in the new Panchayati Raj Act enacted in 1993, there are several new provisions deviating from the past. Which one of the following is not one such provision? Options are a number of added responsibility in the area of agriculture and rural development, in primary education and social forestry amongst others. The next option is elections being made mandatory for all the posts at the time they are due. Option C is a statutory representation for women in panchayat up to a third of the strength. And option D is regular remuneration to the panchayat members so as to ensure their punctuality and accountability. So the correct answer to this question will be option D, that is regular remuneration to panchayat members so as to ensure their punctuality and accountability, because this is not correct, because there is no regular remuneration given to the panchayat members, so this is not correct. Now let's come to the next question. So here, no regular, let me dictate it, no regular remuneration is provided. Remuneration is provision under the Act of 1993. The next question is, consider the following statement about amendment to the election law by the Representation of People's Amendment Act 1996. Options are any conviction for the offence of insulting the national flag or the Constitution of India shall entail disqualification for contesting election to Parliament and state legislature. Option B is there is an increase in the security deposit which a candidate has to make to contest the election to the Lok Sabha. And C, a candidate can now stand for election from more than one parliamentary constituency. Option D is no election will now be countermanded on the death of a contesting candidate. Which of the above statement is or are correct? Options are B and C, A, B and D, A and C, A, B, C and D, that is all. So the correct answer to this question will be option D, that is A, B, C and D. All are true about the amendment to 1996. The next question is, British staying in India cannot claim right to. Options are freedom to trade and profession, equality before law, protection of life and personal liberty, and option D is freedom of religion. The correct answer to this question will be freedom of trade and profession, because all the other fundamental rights are also available to foreigners. For example, there are fundamental rights given in part 3 under article 12 to 35 of Indian Constitution. Part 3, article 12 to 35, and there are 6 sets of fundamental rights. 6 sets of fundamental rights. Earlier there were 7 sets. Now 1 set has been abolished. Right to property has been abolished by 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. But there are 6 sets of fundamental rights available in Part 3, Article 12 to 35. Out of these fundamental rights under Article 15, 16, 19 clause 1, 20 and 22 clause 2. These fundamental rights, 20. First, let me talk about this. These fundamental rights are not available to any foreigner or foreign citizen, also called alien. So these fundamental rights under Article 15, 16, 19, clause 1 and 20. These fundamental rights are not available to any foreigner. Apart from this, there are fundamental rights under Article 29 and 30, that are social and educational rights of minorities. These are also not available to social educational rights of minorities, these are also not available to foreigners. Apart from this, enemy aliens, apart from these rights under Article 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30, there are rights under Article 22 that provides a procedural guarantee against detention and arrest in some cases. So these are also not available to enemy aliens. So the procedural guarantee under Article 22 are not available to enemy aliens while they are available to friendly aliens, while the same are not available to enemy aliens. So these are the rights that are not available to foreigners. Article 15 talks about broader right against discrimination. Article 16 talks about prohibition of discrimination in public employment. Article 19 talks about 6 rights, and Article 29 talks about 29 and 30 talks about right to minorities in India, social educational rights of minorities in India to maintain their educational institution of their choice, and to protect and preserve their social and educational rights and their culture and their language. So this is the thing that we should know. Out of this, freedom of trade and profession, that has been given under Article 19, because it has been given in Article 19 clause 1. So this is not available to foreigners or aliens. So not available to foreigners or aliens. So this is not a correct answer. The next question is, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 refers to. Options are generation of gainful employment for the unemployed and the underemployed person in rural areas. Option B is generation of employment for the able-bodied adults who are in need and desirous of work during the lean agriculture season. Option C is laying the foundation for strong, vibrant Panchayati Raj institutions in the country. So Panchayati Raj institutions, and guaranteeing of rights to life, liberty, security of persons, equality before law, and equal protection of law without discrimination. So the correct answer to this question will be option C, that is 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 refers to laying down foundation for a strong, vibrant Panchayati Raj institution in the country. So Panchayati Raj, Gramin Panchayati Raj in villages, and municipality in city areas or urban areas. So this is the thing that is provided by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. So option C is the correct answer. Next question. The speaker can ask a member of a house, that is whether Lok Sabha, whether Rajya Sabha, whether State Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council, to stop speaking and let another member speak. This phenomenon is known as decorum, crossing the floor, interpellation, yielding the floor. So the correct answer to this question will be crossing the floor. So when the speaker asks a member, speaker of a house, speaker or chairperson, that is the presiding officer of a house, presiding officer of a house, he stops a member of the house, he stops him speaking and lets another member speak. This is known as crossing the floor. Now next question. The next question is, consider the following statement about the Attorney General of India and find the correct answer from the quotes given below. Options are, he is appointed by President of India, he must have the same qualifications as are required of a judge of Supreme Court. Option C is, he must be a member of either house of the Parliament. And option D is, he can be removed through the impeachment by the Parliament. Options are A and B are correct, A and C are correct, B, C, D are correct, C and D are correct. And the correct answer to this question will be, let's scrutinize each option one by. First option is, he is appointed by the President of India. It is absolutely correct, because Attorney General is the highest law officer of Government of India. Highest law officer of Government of India. He functions as the Council of Central Government. Council of the central government. So being the council of the central government, he is the highest law officer of the government of India. So, and he is appointed by President of India. He must have the same qualification as required by a judge of Supreme Court. Yes, this is absolutely correct. This is also correct, because the only qualification mentioned for Attorney General is that he must have the same qualification as are required for a judge of Supreme Court. The next option is he must be a member of either house of the parliament. This is not correct, because Attorney General is member of neither house of parliament. That is, he is not the member of Lok Sabha, and he is neither a member of nor a member of Rajya Sabha. So he is member of neither house of parliament. He is not a member of either house of parliament. And next option is he can be removed through the impeachment by the parliament. This is also not correct, because Attorney General holds office. He is appointed by the president, and he holds office as per the Article 78 of the Constitution. As per Article 78 of the Constitution, 78, Attorney General is appointed by President of India, and he holds office as per the pleasure of President, because his emoluments, salaries, and everything, and the retainership. He is not paid salary; he is paid retainership. Attorney General is paid retainership. He is appointed by the President of India, and he holds office as per the pleasure of President of India, and his tenure is not secure. His tenure is decided as per the at the time of his appointment. So at the time of his appointment, his salaries, emoluments, retainership. He is not paid salary; he is paid retainership. So his retainership, emoluments, and the terms of office, everything is decided at the time of his appointment. So the correct answer to this question will be option A and B. Both are correct. So only A and B are correct. So answer will be option A. That is, A and B are correct. This is all about the Attorney General of India. So what we should remember? We should remember that Attorney General is the highest law officer of Government of India, and he functions as the Council of Government of India. That is, in every court, if any case is filed against the Government of India, or if Government of India files a suit against anyone, it is the Attorney General who represents the government in any court of in the country. So in any court in the country. And one more fact that we have to remember is that in India, the entity against whom the most number of cases are filed is the Government of India, and in India, the entity that files the most number of cases is also the Government of India. So it is the Government of India against whom the most number of cases are filed, and the Government of India also is the entity that files the most number of cases against all in India. So both way it is the Government of India. It is correct. This is the factual information that you have to remember, and it is the Attorney General in all these cases functions as the Council of Government of India, and to help Attorney General, only Attorney General, the post of Attorney General has been mentioned in the Constitution. So the post of Attorney General is a constitutional post, constitutional body, while to help Attorney General, one Solicitor General and one additional solicitor, the post additional Solicitor General has also been provided. So they help these two, Solicitor General and additional Solicitor General posts, are not provided in the Constitution. They are provided by an Act of Parliament, and they are there to help Attorney General. So this is the thing that we have to remember. Let me summarize. Attorney General being the highest law officer of Government of India, Council of Government of India or Central Government, he is appointed by the President. He holds office on the pleasure of President. That means doctrine of pleasure applies to him. Doctrine of pleasure applies to him. His terms of office is determined at the time of his appointment, and the Solicitor General, additional Solicitor General, assist Attorney General in his work, and the post of Attorney General is a constitutional post because it is mentioned in the text of the Constitution. While the post of Solicitor General, additional Solicitor General, is not mentioned in the Constitution. and these are not